Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Everfrog Esports, trying to find the angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. Whoa! DY gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that Rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Safety gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. 50 getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Season 16 playoffs here in CGL. I am Gedster, and joining me in a first-time duo, never done this before, is To Try Hard Ray. How you doing today, man?
I'm feeling pretty dang good. We got a winners finals matchup for you guys in the EUGM tier. We got Bliss Excelsior going up against DYS, budget approved. I had the pleasure of casting both of their semifinals matchups, and they had a feeling they were going to be going up against each other. And it's been quite the story between these two teams, as Bliss Excelsior has been undefeated on the season, except for one loss in the mid-season grand finals to DYS, budget approved. So they're the one team who has taken them this season. But when I was talking with DYS, budget approved, at the end of their match last week, they said, hey, we lost to them last time we played them. We did beat them in midseason, but second half of the season we lost, so we have a lot to prove.
Yeah, so definitely one of the defining matchups of this season of GMEU. Just based on that information alone, all you really need to know is that these guys, they've played each other multiple times, and it comes to a head here in this part of the winner's bracket. But again, it is winner's bracket, so potentially this could happen again. This matchup could be seen again in our grand finals, because winner books their ticket to grand finals and loser has to face off against the winner of EMC and Zero Recall. That's going to be an interesting match to keep an eye out for, but I mean, you definitely want to lock in that grand final spot right here and right now.
Couldn't agree with you more. But before we go any further in this series, we do have other matches going on currently on CGL1. We have a matchup going on for you guys. Trying to get that for you guys because I forgot which one it was, to be honest. It was yeah, T4 Demons going up against Bliss Marauders Tier 6, which that one is an elimination game, so loser will be eliminated, unfortunately. And after this game starts, like in an hour after this one, we're going to have that lower bracket matchup from the EUGM tier between Zero Recall and EMC Menagarma, so you'll be able to see the result of this one, and then go see who the loser will be playing in losers finals. So exciting stuff for today.
A lot of bangers today here in CGL, and I'm very excited to get into this one because, I mean, it's storied, right? This is like the defining matchup of GMEU. I already said that, but I don't think I can stress it enough. This is going to be a very important momentum setter for whatever team can manage to take this one away. Obviously, there is only one match standing between the loser and grand final after this, and it's up against one of the teams that got swept in the opening round of playoffs, but anything can still happen down there. The team that you played already might get back to you, and they might be able to cause a little bit of an upset, you know, shifting of the tectonic plates, and suddenly there's a very unexpected grand finals matchup. So don't want to take that risk. Just want to go straight to grand finals right here, right now.
Yeah, both of these teams wanting to be able to punch their ticket there. Regardless, the loser's not gone. They'll be able to learn something and hopefully come back in grand finals to see what is going to happen. Bliss Excelsior was the highest seed in this matchup, so they were able to pick map and ban. So we do know what the map is going to be for map number 1, and no surprises here. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the playoffs. Lijiang Tower is map number 1.
Definitely not a surprise here. Lijiang, one of those classic maps that really everybody loves, everybody's comfortable on, and I mean, who can blame them? It's a classic for a reason. It's really just like this, and sometimes you'll see some teams that want to be a little bit more dive-oriented, go Ilios. Maybe occasionally you'll see a Busan. I casted a Busan map 1 yesterday. That was very different and out of left field, but into the hero bans we go. Bliss Excelsior first up.
Yeah, the one thing we did learn from the DYS budget approved matchup, both these teams did win their previous matches 3-0, we saw, but there was a dominant Tracer effect coming in on the side of DYS budget approved. Their Tracer was just absolutely running the lobby. So I don't know if that's going to be the first ban right off the rip if you're Bliss Excelsior, but expect the Tracer at some point to be banned by Bliss Excelsior.
Yeah, unsurprising. This character still so strong despite the recent nerf, and it will be a map 1 Tracer ban coming from Bliss Excelsior. I think this is very interesting because if this Tracer is as impactful as you say it is, I'm not sure if map 1 is the best time to burn the ban, you know? Just obviously getting it off the table right off the bat, getting yourself that potential map 1 win is huge, but if you drop this map, that's not an option anymore, and suddenly this series spirals out of control.
As we'll see how DYS budget approved is going to respond. They have had an interesting comp that they played in their previous series on specifically Lijiang Tower, which is a wrecking ball composition. They all know each other pretty well, so all the teams expect it. But they did say their previous opponent was the one who was getting most used to it. So I'm curious to see if they rip that out. But Kiriko is going to be the second ban. I don't think it's that shocking. It really depends what setup you're wanting to play, but with the Kiri, if you are playing the wrecking ball, it's less you have to worry about because Kiri can obviously TP out of their Suzu's pretty effective against the ball comp, so not a huge shock.
Not in the slightest, no. Definitely makes sense to see this set of bans here. Again, I'm a little bit hesitant about banning out the Tracer map 1, but if that comes back to bite Bliss Excelsior, then that's lessons learned for losers bracket and a potential grand finals rematch. But
Listen, the way I look at it when it comes to that Tracer ban, if it nets you the first map, awesome. If you lose the first map despite banning Tracer, like, oh, you are in for trouble. So I feel like it's almost because you're ripping this ban right off the gate, a potential must-win map number 1 for them, because you know they're going to be back stronger and everyone they have their Tracer going forward.
Oh yeah, most certainly. And I mean, before we get into this, we do have our rosters as well. Shadow, Percy, Power, Arrow, and
Ichiban.
Yeah,
Just do
Ichiban.
Ichiban. That's what they've been calling him in chat.
Ichiban. Good to know. Meanwhile, on the other side of the server, we got Note, Ravenge, Yabronin, Witty Weave, and Kermi. So, good lineups all around here. Is there anybody, Ray, that you think we should be paying particular attention to in this matchup?
There's a lot available. I think Bronin and Witty Weave for this side of for that team, and then I think Shadow is going to be one to watch out for, and Power as well, because I believe Power for DYS budget approved has basically they had been absent for a while, but showed up for their match in semifinals and came through in a big way, and then had already said like they're going to make sure they can be there for the rest of the matches. So I think that's going to be one thing, because in the second half of the season, I don't think they had Power for their matchup against Bliss Excelsior. So I think that's one wrinkle to keep an eye on.
Well, definitely going to be interesting to see Power back in the lineup, and it does seem like we're getting closer to going into the map itself here. I believe we are going directly in, actually. We are! How about that? Lijiang Tower, Garden, our first battleground of this beautiful, beautiful evening.
They picked
Well,
evening
afternoon for
time,
me.
nighttime Lijiang, the better version, but that's okay.
I agree.
It's all right. It's all right. But here we go. Gardens is going to be that first sub map. Let's see compositionally what we are taking a look at for the side of Bliss Excelsior. Not
That's a
big shock.
queen.
Yeah. They got the Ramatra currently, and we talked about on this new patch, specifically with the Ramatra getting that extra 25 HP has helped them be so much more viable in these brawl and rush compositions. For DYS budget approved, they will be going with the Junker Queen variant.
Yes! Yes, we get Junker Queen! Oh, this makes me happy. I'm excited. One of my favorite brawl tanks ever since her introduction early in Overwatch 2's lifespan. Overshadowed a little bit by some of the later additions, but currently one of those later additions put to sleep. Power currently antied in the side room. Not able to do a whole lot without the team there, but fortunately not going to be going down so early. Shadow, though, the first to fall in this fight. Note from range, just putting in so much damage with the help of the railguns here, and eventually should be able to get Percy out as well. Power also falling off the map. And that's an early fight win for DYS budget approved.
Yeah, so that's how you're going to have to play this if your DYS budget approved. It's pretty fast because the Junker Queen going to have a lot of less sustain. A lot of more poke, however, available for Bliss Excelsior. So if they can outlast a lot of this damage and get Percy and Shadow with some railguns and some good shots from the Freya, they're going to be in a good spot. DYS budget approved also has the constant threat of a big anti-nade coming in and wrecking things up. So you have to be very wary of that if you're Excelsior.
Very different fundamental backlines that we see from both of these teams right now, but at the end of the day, that Ana is a huge threat for the side of Bliss Excelsior, nearly able to take Power out of the equation there, and that's why it becomes so important to get Witty Weeb out of the equation, which they do. Unfortunately, it just doesn't matter because budget approved, they just get 3 picks right back.
Yeah, Bronin's going insane on the Junker Queen. I did misspoke earlier, so Bronin is the Tracer player that I talked about from DYS budget approved.
Oh.
The one time it got banned in the previous series, they went Junker Queen and absolutely demolished. So this is not a big shocker to me to be seeing them do this. And they're going to have a sound barrier to continue to sustain here. Note can use the overclock. They're in a really good spot.
Yeah, they're feeling pretty good right now. Lot of check marks for them. Really only got a couple of ultimates to work with if you're Bliss Excelsior, and you've just gotten that Annihilation online. Could very well pop it right here, right now. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked. Nano, though, onto the Reaper. Going to put a lot of pressure onto the back line of Excelsior. The first picks go the way, though, of Excelsior. Big 4-man rampage. Connecting onto many members of the team, but it just won't be enough. The player will go down thanks to the tidal blast, and despite only having 2 players left on the point, Bliss Excelsior, they will take the point.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ravage, they didn't get the melody of that sound barrier, so they got, especially because they were fading out, so they had no cooldowns to keep themselves alive, and they went down. Still, both DPS ultimates available for these teams, but Bliss Excelsior, I think this window, if placed well, is going to be devastating.
I mean, absolutely it will be, but the overclock as well gets popped, and it doesn't immediately find value, but eventually Shadow finds an angle and Note falls. And it's Trade City all around right now, but eventually this should come out on top in favor of Bliss Excelsior. Bronin just has to escape.
But I think budget approved did the right thing. You forced out 2 ultimates in the overclock in the window, and you kept your ultimates. And I mean, really all you gotta do is win this next fight, and you're going to be taking this point home. So now they can look to re-engage with both of these DPS ultimates. He's got to be careful of this Bola from Percy.
Yeah, that Bola on the bridge, going to be able to hit basically everybody it comes in contact with, but oh, Bronin caught out of position real soon, and that's an early fight reset. You just gotta get out.
Looks like they are going to be able to, so nice positioning thrown out by Ravage, but that's the thing you got to be careful about if you're budget approved. You can't just get these early pickoffs. Bronin's got to be a lot more careful. They will have Nano as well to throw in this fight, however, now.
And a Nano onto an overclock, or potentially even just a Reaper without having to use the Death Blossom, could be huge, but does opt to use it onto the Queen, who had just been hit with the Bola. Note as well, needs no Nano to find 2. Ravenge as well, just pumping so much damage into Power's Ramatra. And that's a clean team wipe. I'm not sure that Excelsior have time to get back to the point here. This should just go the way of budget approved.
No, they're gonna have the Lucio to at
they
least be
do.
able to touch.
No,
oh,
Okay, Sojourn gets there to get the touch, but Shadow immediately gets shut down. Bronin also finding Arrow as well. And the Rampage on point simply will not be enough. That's 3 kills for the Junker Queen and a 0 target Rampage to end it all. That's the first point, and it goes the way of DYS.
that Rampage almost reminds me of like SpongeBob and like victory screech. But very well played, all things considered, by DYS, budget approved. It's so interesting to know that you have this in your arsenal where it's like, hey, our Tracer player who's fantastic, when it gets banned, let's just go to the Junker Queen, especially on a map like Lijiang Tower that really it's brawl and rush centric. So the Junker Queen's a welcomed addition to this map. And you're not gonna have, it's not like you're on Gibraltar and they ban Tracer and you're like, well, what do we do here now? Like, then they got to
yeah. Yeah, it works out in your favor big time. I mean, you're very happy.
I'm actually gonna go over to the Soldier this time around. No Freya. I do like the Freya a little bit better, but let's see what the Soldier's able to take care of.
I like the Freya a lot better. Like, I'm gonna be a little bit more blunt about it. I think that the Freya makes a lot more sense than the Soldier here. Soldier really not seeing a whole lot of prevalence since the first ever stage of Overwatch League post Overwatch 2 update. It's been a long time, but a lot of poke damage going through right now. But I mean, as we say it, Percy already up to 45% of the ult, but it may not even matter as Note finds the first pick onto Power. That Ramatra falling immediately just means that the fight is over. There is no point presence for Bliss Excelsior. And there's going to be a lot of damage pressure as this Queen is running you down. Shadow eventually does fall down. I was thinking for a moment that he might be kept alive, but these staggers are really nice. But someone does flip the point. I believe it was Percy.
I will say getting point presence early for this composition is going to be big, but the Power going to the Orisa now, you have a lot more sustain. Because I was going to say, with the Ramatra, you don't have the speed to be able to push in and just don't have a lot of poke to deal with a lot of these players. But the Orisa is going to remedy a lot of those issues that the Ram can't solve.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, finding picks on that Orisa going back into the fight there was so massive for Power. Being able to take out, especially Bronin on that Queen, just means that you just get a free flip. We'll take it.
And now in response, because of this, Ravenge is going to have to bring out the Symmetra, which is going to just melt that Orisa away, just get that beam up. So much tankiness to just be able to build that up.
Windows out. Point presence already here, and it's going to be enough pressure that, I mean, Bliss Excelsior can't get there. They have to flip. Window goes up, so does the Visor. It's a lot of damage coming from this Soldier 76, and it will be enough to take Ravenge out of the equation, but the turrets, I mean, just stuck in the corner, the turrets will be doing so much work, and eventually, this is, like, a numerical advantage for the side of budget approved, but it's still going to be a flip for Bliss Excelsior because they just had the better damage on the point. But it seems like it's going to flip right back.
Yeah, because they got the later kills for DYS, so their players came back faster and were able to retake the point. As now it looks like they're going to look to spawn camp a little bit from Percy because these players are trapped, but a great railgun is going to force them back. You're still not in the greatest position here, DYS. You got to get your players to the point. It looks like they are finally able to do that.
They get there, and they get there intact for now, but Note gets ripped apart by another excellent railgun from Shadow. The sound barrier just to try and keep them sustained through this, but a great spear from Power to lock down the Batiste. And that's surely going to be another flip. This is like the 6th flip on this point. What is happening? And they're still losing players.
This is a little insane here. And so much damage being put down on the Power. The overclock now getting committed by no.
What is happening?
The picks. What is the series?
What is going on? It's the first map and we're already seeing stupid numbers of flips on the point. 90% in building now. Do Bliss Excelsior have a touch here? They do.
They swapped to the Symmetra, so they will have the touch.
They get the touch. They get onto the point here, but the wall goes down. from Ravage, and they just aren't able to fight around it very well. The Rampage goes out onto members of Bliss Excelsior, and eventually it's just Power left standing on the Ramatra. Goes back to it after a fairly successful Orisa, but not successful enough. DYS says no Tracer, no problem. And that Queen composition absolutely runs over them.
And this is the issue we talked about coming into this map, ripping that Tracer ban off the gun, round number 1, map number 1. Now you're going to be dealing with Bronin, who will go back over to DPS for the rest of the series, and you're going to have to deal with the Tracer extraordinaire. So you put yourself in a position now where you're going to have to win 3 maps where Bronin's going to be on Tracer every single one of these maps. I can't think of a map that you're going to take someone to and be like, hey, can't play Tracer on this map. It's not good.
Yeah, that's the thing about Tracer, right? She is one of those characters that you can play on just about every map in the game. There are maps where it's a little bit harder, sometimes a tiny bit, where you might want something that has a little bit more verticality, like a Genji or something like that, but
I mean, the only map I can really think of where I'm not really thinking of Tracers is like a Circuit Royale or something like that, where it's like, it's more hit scan oriented. Right. Sometimes you get like your May kind of brawl kind of situation. Less Tracer on those maps, but I mean, outside of that, I think Bliss ripping that ban right off the gut, I don't know how I feel about that. And especially after losing that map, might have not been the best decision.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because frankly, I think that if you were going to ban Tracer, I kind of, like you were saying earlier, I kind of wanted to see that come out on something like a Gibraltar instead of something like a Lijiang Tower, where, especially if Bronin's going to run out on the Queen, like, we can't let them have that on Lijiang, surely. We had to do that on like Ilios maybe, or the Gibraltar, like you said, or the Dorado, perhaps, something like that. And I fear this is a misstep that may end up costing Bliss Excelsior dearly.
I will say, I mean, it was also your map pick in your first ban, so it's like you had all the advantages going into that map number 1. You just weren't able to bring it through. I don't know if that says what's, if, going forward, now that they have Tracer, is this just going to be a wash? I highly doubt that. These teams have always played each other relatively close, but that's one. I think that's, if you end up losing this series, I feel you're going to look back on that and be like, maybe we shouldn't have ripped Tracer right from the gun. Maybe we should have saved it for a better map. But we'll see how the series develops. It's not over yet. Both these teams, I mean, both those maps were extremely close. It came down to like 90 to like 80 or 70 on both of those maps.
Oh yeah, yesterday I casted a series where the opening control map was 200-0 and the losing team didn't even trigger overtime once, so definitely already a closer series today. It's by no means over, for sure. A misstep for sure from Bliss Excelsior, but nothing you can't rebound from. I mean, obviously, Tracer, very good character, but she did get nerfed in the most recent patch, and one of her biggest direct counters in Cassidy got buffed. So, I mean, if you roll out on a map where Cassidy's, like, relatively viable, I think that there's a very good chance that you can, ban out a different DPS so that you can keep a hold of that character, and then maybe do what you can to mitigate Ronin on this character that he is very obviously known for.
I agree. I mean, Bliss Excelsior is the higher seed. They're undefeated. There's a reason why they've been able to do this. They just have to be able to limit this going forward because you're not going to be able to deal with it. So like we mentioned, things like the Cassidy and other things that can just spy check the Tracer and dealing with Bronin on that a lot better. I think they just gotta make some slight adjustments, knowing that that's what they're looking at the rest of the series. But I have no doubt that they can make the adjustments and turn the series around.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt. And it does sound like we have our second map pick. It is one where you mentioned earlier, Tracer struggles a little bit. We are going to Circuit Royale, and I think this is a good response from Bliss Excelsior in the immediate aftermath of losing with the Tracer ban, because now you have that option, right? You have that map where this character not quite lobby admin mode.
Yeah, I definitely think well thought out, Very well done from the side of Bliss Excelsior. I actually favor them coming into this next map. I think they will tie this up 1-1. And they gave themselves the best opportunities. The question is, where do you look to go with the bans for this series, or not for this map? We know Tracer can't be banned for them. They can go anywhere they want on the board. Because, I wouldn't be banning the Junker Queen. It's not like Junker Queen is really played on this map. And I think from this point on, Bronin's going to be going back over to DPS anyway. So I think you ban for the tank that's going to be coming in if you are going in the direction of a tank ban. But I feel like this map tends to favor itself to be a little bit more like Ramattra Zarya pilled when it comes to like the rush brawls. So, I mean, I feel like they feel comfortable in that duel. So I don't feel like they're going to ban the Ramattra for sure. As for Bliss Excelsior, it looks like they are going to ban.
Drum roll. Ash. Interesting.
Which makes sense. This is hit scan extraordinaire map, and Ash is probably the most broken hit scan in the game right now. They just, the amount of damage they output right now is ridiculous with the new range fall off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the Ash buff has been. I'm not sure people realized upon reading that patch notes how powerful that particular range buff would be, but as someone who's played a lot of Ash myself,
as someone who's the hit scan for their own team,
right? Okay, don't do me like that. As someone who's played a lot of Ash myself, yeah, that's a pretty significant range change for her fall off damage. So she is outputting a lot of work right now for basically any composition she's in. Now, the response ban from DYS is going to be interesting to me because surely
I wouldn't be surprised if they rip a Ramattra ban and just not even want to take that duel. I know that their tank isn't capable of being able to do that, but to me, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world. But also, you never know with the supports, because this is such a double flex support pilled type of map. Maybe you look to do that, but yeah, Ramattra ban. No, to me, not surprising at all.
Okay. Yeah, definitely makes sense here. It's as you say, they don't want to take the mirror, and I get it. Initially, for a very long time, this map was extremely Sigma-centric, and I mean, obviously Ramattra very good into Sigma, but we don't see a lot of Sigma these days. We see mostly Ramattra, but now, with this character off the board, we might be seeing Sigma. Who knows what we see anymore? It's Circuit Royale. This is like, we know we're seeing at least one hit scan, but everything else?
Yeah, here we go. Reno coming in on that tank, as we talked about. Bronin going over to that DPS, and Ravenge will go over to that support. So, no shockers for what we're going to see with the substitution range. This is what they do and expected.
I would love to see Ball Reno. I don't think we're going to see Ball on this map, but I would love to see it. I'm a fan of Wrecking Ball. I'm a fan of dive tanks in general. Ball might be my favorite, honestly. Big, huge fan.
I don't know about Wrecking Ball on this specific map, but
oh yeah, I don't think so.
Table.
But yeah. I would love to see it. No, is it gonna happen? Probably not. Would I love to see it? Yeah.
As you can see for the side of Bliss Excelsior, Rooney coming in on that support line. Not totally shocking. We have seen it's just funny to see two Lucio favorite characters on there. But like we mentioned, this map is definitely more double flex support pilled, so
yeah, it makes sense.
Really curious to see where this is going to go with all these subs coming in.
Yeah, there's a lot of different players on the field right now. Ichiban out, Reno in. It's gonna be interesting for sure to see if any major adjustments are made to rosters, like on a map-to-map basis for the rest of the series. Obviously, you've got a couple people on each team that are going to be staying in on the same role for every map.
By the way, I totally have my teams mixed up. By the way, it was Bliss who plays the Wrecking Ball comp. I mixed the two teams up in my head, but they're obviously not playing it here. In the Wrecking Ball, as I mentioned, teams are starting to catch on to it, so it's no surprise we haven't. Or not catch on to it. They all knew they were going to play it, but they've been more well-adjusted on how to deal with it. As we're seeing Power roll out on the Orisa on the defense here, which no surprise, especially with the Ramattra being banned. I mean, we saw how good Power was map #1 playing that Orisa. Double hit scan, no shocker once again with the Sojourn and the Widow, especially since no Ashe. So those are the 2 hit scans you're going to favor. And then with the double flex, they're playing the Alari and the BAP. BAP to me has always been a given, and then like your second can just depend. Like Alari's good, Zen is also going to be very good. As DYS budget approved, they're also going to go with the BAP Alari variant, so no Zen, but they're going to go different with their hit scans. They're going to go Freya Hanzo.
Yeah, very different approaches to the DPS line and the tank for each of these teams. Reno may end up struggling a little bit going into this Orisa because she can just kind of walk towards you and force a fight in a way that Sigma sometimes struggles to do a little bit here. Both of these teams losing out on the Ilari pylon, but may not end up mattering immediately. Reno falls very, very low, but eventually gets healed back up, and it's just a matter of waiting for a pick to happen here, right? A lot of characters on both these teams capable of delivering a one-shot and completely turning the tide of a fight early. But nothing of the sort happening quite yet here. Power forced to back off, and right now it's... Yep, there it is. The first pick comes through, and it's Note onto Rooney. DYS already off to a pretty decent start on the attack.
Bronin coming through with the multi-shot, getting those arrows onto Percy. DPS down. So I think this might be the cap for the side of DYS, because it doesn't look like they want, at least from what we can see, they're just looking to position themselves for second point. As Power is just going to back up and set up on the high ground, which no surprises here. The second point high ground is just so powerful for the defenders.
Oh yeah, it just lends itself so well to being able to hold here on the second point before the first turn even happens. But I mean, they're being forced back pretty effectively right now. The shots from Note are on point. Percy though also hitting a gorgeous headshot onto Witty Weave, but it gets traded out pretty quickly as well. And Reno also pushing aggressively off the back of the Flux. Another definitive fight win for DYS, and now that high ground you were talking about completely mitigated.
DYS so far has come to show out and play. They had their plans in place. Brody gets Percy as well. Back to the spawn room you go, Widow. And they're just getting constant free cart push. You will get one more attempt at stopping this if you're the side of Excelsior, but you're dealing with every single ultimate that DYS hasn't used yet, which is 4 of them, and Percy's now gone over to the Soldier.
Yeah, Percy has to go Soldier in an attempt to get back to this fight quickly enough for it to matter. Terra Surge goes out, but it won't find any eliminations thanks to a great placement on the Immortality field. Picks still come through though, as Note and Power are the first players out of the equation. Percy manages to find Ravage with the help of the Batiste window, and I think that window might just be enough to get the stop here on the cart. Surely, but no, it's not. Bronin comes in and hits 2 headshots to take out the last couple of stragglers, and Power doesn't get back to the point in time. This is 5 minutes now for DYS to capture third.
Talking so much about the Bronin Tracer, we all didn't realize the ability they had on the Bronin Hanzo. Still window available for DYS budget approved, which that alone can buy.
Oh my god!
Another pick onto Percy. Bronin is just telling Percy, you cannot play this game.
Yeah, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Straight to the spawn room. It's been rough for everybody going up against this Hanzo so far, and now you have locations on 3 people with the help of the sonar arrow, pumping free damage into Power's Diva, who's been demeched now by Reno. But eventually, Shadow finally finding an opening pick onto Witty Weave. But look at how far this cart has already moved, Ray. So far ahead is DYS, and eventually Percy finds a pick onto Note, but it's quickly traded out by Ravage. And I mean, it's still moving. It's still moving. You have a Flux for Reno, and finally the cart is stopped. Power is swapped over to the Hazard, but with Bronin finding another arrow to the Dome of Shadow, this is getting ridiculous.
And they still have 3 other ults to be able to use. Captive Sun will come out with a window still available as the hazards now in play, and they're going to find 2 picks, and this should be enough to stabilize. They're still putting a lot of pressure on a power. It does go down, but they found everyone else in the meantime. Bliss Excelsior finally able to stabilize a little bit, but still, lots of time on the clock. 3.5 minutes for DYS budget approved. And they're going to have a tactical visor, so they're going to have to make a lot out of this because they're dealing with Bola Shot and Flux. And depending on how long this fight goes, a possible Captive Sun.
Yeah, it could get real bad for the side of Bliss Excelsior real quick. And I mean, Shadow's gone over to the Tracer as well, just in an attempt to, 1, be fast so you can recontest the point, and 2, maybe get a pick with this Pulse Bomb later in the fight. Both ERDs go down very, very early. Bronin is just not missing, though. A headshot onto the Tracer, and I mean, Percy popping the tactical visor and then dying. It's been rough for the side of Bliss Excelsior so far, and I think all of it comes down to the fact that Bronin is simply him.
Tracer forced to recall. Oh, Shadow gets taken down by Bronin. What a map. What a series from Bronin so far.
Unreal performance on this map for Bronin as it stands here. And it's only going to get more impressive. Reno, and basically the entirety of Bliss Marauders, like, they've just been falling over this entire time. Eventually, finally, it seems that they might be slowed down a little bit here, but Ravage, despite being at 1 HP, wins the 1v1 against Power. That's a lot of your point presence gone, and with the Tracer going down, the Immortality Field means nothing. The window is popped, but it might just be a futile attempt at a recontest here. This should just be a capture with an absurd 145 time bank on Circuit Royale of all maps.
Yeah, what a nice rock coming in from Reno at the end to just stop the Malga from being able to touch, which, I mean, at the end, I still think they would have gotten it, but the Malga possibly could have stalled for a while, depending on how that went. So, just very, well, Bronin, back on my old one trick. He never left. We see you, Bronin.
Hey, we see you. We've definitely seen you in the kill feed on this map, because holy Bronin, 22 elims, 2 deaths. No, I mean, I would love to see the final blow stats on this one, because is he deadlifting? He might be deadlifting right now.
I think it's definitely a possibility. But here we go. Defense. I've talked about this many times in a 1-to-5 series. I feel like it's extremely hard to come back down from 2-0 unless you're Cuddlepot on the Diamond Division, who seems to do it all the time. So being able to win this map is going to be, very important for Bliss, because, like I said, this is one of the only maps that was left in the map pool that, you really can't play Tracer on. So, and Bronin's shown he can play more than just the Tracer, but definitely elite on that hero. So they got to make sure they win this map. They are going to match this Sigma this time around, which I think is going to be the smart thing. It's going to help them enable their hit scans better. And I like Percy going over to the fray. I'm really surprised they never pulled that out on the defense.
I am very surprised we never saw it. I'm frankly shocked we saw the Soldier 76 for as long as we did on their defense. But what's done is done. And now it is their turn to go on the offensive. It is, as you say, matching the Sigma. I do agree that this is probably the right play for them. Unfortunately, the wrong play for them is losing out on their primary source of damage very early in the fight. Freya now completely out of the equation. Shadow still standing on this Sojourn, but hasn't done a whole lot and will continue to not do a whole lot as Bronin finds another headshot.
Man, this defensive positions for budget. We talked about, just how impressive it was with the Hanzo on the attack, but defensively, this setup that DYS is playing plays better in a defensive position, this poke. So it's going to enable them only more. And Bronin's just going to be able to continue just raining arrows down, playing that RNG game. And he keeps rolling D20s with these Hanzo arrows.
I don't think he's rolled below an 18 this whole time, Ray. It's been kind of absurd. Like, it's crazy how consistent he is with these shots. So many different picks in so many different fights, and they've all been impactful. But eventually, he will fall shortly after his tank, and that is the go sign for Bliss Excelsior. They finally have their moment where they can push this cart around the first corner and the second, potentially even the third into the first capture. And with Witty Weave
getting that
going
late
down,
second into Witty Weave, I think that all but seals up the first point. If I'm the, you do get it's a 4v4, so you have the ability to push if you're DYS, and they are going to touch now that they got that returning pick. Dragons goes on the point just to give them some space.
No! Power, what are you fluxing, man? You're in the open, there's nobody near you, and you just die in the middle of the ultimate cast. That's tragic for Bliss Excelsior. This should have been a free fight win. This should have been a first point capture, and now less than 2 minutes remaining, and you're down a flux.
They did buy themselves a lot of space, got the car almost to the end. So now it's just all going to be about finding angles. They're going to have a lot more room to work with now with this poke. So the positioning is going to be lost better. They still got 4 ultimates to be able to use as well, so it's got to make sure they get ultimate advantage out of them.
Flux goes up. Percy first to fall in the fight, and I mean, it's still not looking particularly good here for Bliss Excelsior, especially as they lose Rooney, who cannot rotate far enough away to kite the damage that's being dealt by DYS, who are just they look dominant right now.
That they do. They still have an overclock and a captive sun, which those 2 ultimates actually combine really well to get the Sunstrike actually active on people after the captive sun. But DYS just has so many things at their disposal as well. And Broda just keeps hitting these headshots.
Another one! Percy out of the equation in one of the most pivotal fights we've seen so far. A definitive team kill. No question in your mind about it. Only 2 ultimates used as well for DYS. They still have Bola. They're about to have Dragon Strike. They're halfway to window. They're feeling great about this one.
They are last attempt for Excelsior, and they still have that powerful combo of the Captive Sun and that overclock, and they will be getting Flux. So they have the tools to be able to get this point capped. They just got to make it work, but Percy's already down.
Oh no, that's actually tragic for Bliss Excelsior. They lose out on 2 players, both of your DPS on the approach to the point. Captive Sun goes out. Really important that finds a pick, and it does onto Witty Weave, but it just won't be enough. Power is rocked out of his Flux, and it is a full hold on the most, probably the smartest map pick you could have made if you were Bliss Excelsior.
Wow. Oh, wow. What a map from this DYS budget approved team. I mentioned I kind of favored Excelsior coming to this map. I will apologize, Bronin. I did not know the power of that Hanzo. I feel like I don't have the stats. That definitely felt like a deadlift. Like, if not, it was very close. Like that was insane.
It felt like a deadlift. I don't think it ended up being one, but again, I would love to see the stats on that one for sure. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot to say here. DYS just looked extremely good throughout that whole thing. Partially off the back of the Hanzo from them, but like, I mean, the whole team looked great the entire time. Reno coming in and just dominating on the Sigma, basically the entire map. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say here, Ray.
With such a dominance coming out from DYS budget approved so far, Excelsior is going to have to make a lot of adjustments. They're going to need some time to think about that. So we're going to give them a nice break to figure out what adjustments they want to make, what map they want to pick, what bands they want to go with. So we're going to throw it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, folks. The conclusion of this series will be happening right after this.
my downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Saravasa will be our next battleground here in this matchup between Bliss Excelsior and DYS budget approved. It's been not close so far. Let me just put it that way, right? It has been a very different affair to what we saw in mid-season.
I'm so sorry. That was so blunt. I was waiting for we got this series going, blah, blah, blah. You're like, Saravasa. I was just like,
I like bringing it in like that.
No, that's fine.
I
It's
like
fine.
being
It's
blunt. It's funny.
Oh, that was so funny. It threw me off. Oh, that was great. Oh. Whew. All right, here we go. So, previously in both their previous series, they both actually went to Saravasa and they both dominated in this map. So, they both are going to feel extremely comfortable on a map like this. This is where Shadow versus Broden's going to be the big one. They're the two Tracer players. They're both very talented. I'm very excited to see that matchup, regardless of how if this turns out like a 3-0, it sucks. I was hoping for a really good series, which I still think is possible, but at least I get to see the Tracer duel between two talented Tracers from the EMGM tier. EUGM tier.
Very true. And I mean, I love me a good Tracer duel myself as a Tracer main personally. I would also like to go on record and apologize if this does end up being a 3-0 blowout between two teams that have put on bangers in the past. It might low-key be my fault. I may or may not be cursed to only cast like one-sided series previously, like in the last few weeks. It's been real rough up to this point for me. So
we're talking about rolling D20s like in D&D with that Hanzo. They got rolled with a curse in this one. So,
dude, I am rolling nat ones exclusively whenever I cast, and I feel really bad for the team on the losing end, because if it is my fault, then we just need to ban me from casting for a while. Wrecking Ball is going to be the first choice ban here for the side of Bliss Excelsior. The first time they have not banned a DPS in this series.
It could be also like I said, Bliss was the team who I remember playing, that I'm thinking back were the ones playing the Wrecking Ball, but it could just be a protect. I mean, obviously Ramatra can't get banned again, but maybe they're looking to play Mauga here. We did see that come out for a second at the end of second point, third point on Circuit Royale. So just trying to protect any other tanks they could possibly play. How do DYS budget approved respond is going to be the question of the day. There's just so many different, because like you think of Saravasa as more of a rush brawl oriented map, so maybe you want to take away speed. If you're expecting Mauga, maybe you take Lucio away, but they are going to ban away Baptiste, Disco Man himself.
An interesting ban. I don't hate it. I'm not sure if Bap was going to be seeing a lot of play on Saravasa anyway, but
yeah.
This one feels a little bit like throwaway. Like you didn't really want to get rid of anybody that you would be using in potential future compositions or something like that. I don't know for sure. Like maybe it could be a future proofing thing. I don't know. I can't tell at this point.
As we do have some changes coming in for both of these teams, as we do have Kermie coming in for Ravenge, as well as Ichbin coming in on support for Rooney. So support changes, my guess is these are likely Lucio players coming in to play the speed on a rush style map.
Definitely makes sense to see this happening in here, but it's not going to be one of those maps where you know, Lucio gets banned and now your only speed option is Juno. So not going to be seeing any of the Juno nonsense today. We are going back to our first speedy support this time around, but without Ball on the field. Wait, it wasn't Ball that got banned. Who got banned?
Yes, it was Ball that got
it
banned.
was.
It was
It
Ball.
was. Without
It
Ball
only
on the
happened,
field,
you know, 2 minutes ago, not even.
dude, I am so forgetful. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. We'll get there eventually. I'll get to the point where I can remember who got banned 4 seconds ago at some point. But Ichbin and Kermie in, as you say, so unsurprising to see both of these teams are going to be putting a heavy emphasis on Lucio, considering the nature of Flashpoint as a mode, the nature of Suravasa as a map, and the nature of these teams as brawl composition enjoyers, it seems. But both teams very likely also going to be playing the Tracer. Curious to see how that fits into the into both teams' styles of play here.
Here we go, folks. This could be final map for DYS budget approved, as they're trying to just make this a clean 3-0 and punch your ticket to grand finals. Bliss Excelsior going to have to reverse sweep, as we are going to see precursory from Bliss Excelsior, the Zarya. No surprises here. Zarya is still a fantastic pick, and it's going to work very well on a map like Suravasa. Which I'm surprised to not see any form of speed at all. Normally with Zarya, you do like having that speed to be able to aggress onto people. DYS budget approved, however, is going to have Reno on the Orisa, which worries me a little bit, because the Orisa matchup into Zarya is a very bad one. The Orisa gets hard countered by Zarya.
Yeah, it's rough not being able to mitigate beam damage against a fully charged Zarya. So you have to be playing super careful basically at all times, that especially playing around those bubbles, ensuring that you aren't charging her up too heavily. You've already chunked down power pretty significantly, though, and note with an amazing first pick to find. I mean, that's like perfect scenario type of thing for DYS.
And then the exiting picks from Bronin on the Tracer, as well as they're looking for more onto the Wu Yang. They do find it, so that's just more and more time for them to just gain all of this percentage. Bronin already up to 70% on the Tracer ult charge. That's the thing. So I think Bliss Excelsior needs to play more tempo. Like I said, the speed, man, because DYS budget approved in that fight. The reason they won is because they just kept their distance. Reno didn't get aggressed upon.
But eventually there will be a state of aggression here from the side of Bliss Excelsior. Power finding Kermie early in the fight, but there is a response from DYS. 2 players fall on that side of the server. Eventually, though, the damage and point presence from the Zarya should be able to scare people away, but Bronin from behind, still managing to find ridiculous damage, including a stick onto Arrow's Yachty. I mean, this has been gorgeous coming out from DYS. Even when they lose a player or two, it just doesn't matter. They're going to take the first point 100-0. Wait a minute. Overtime touch from Percy. Manages to keep overtime burning for at least a little while, but no, players are still going to fall down, and Power is just not close enough.
Yeah, see, I will say, for a moment during that second fight, we saw the power, ironically, a power Zarya. They just didn't have any follow-up from their team. You know, if their Reaper would have been there with them, or even Shadow, someone to help follow up with damage, they could have chunked down a lot of these players. So I think you just got to make that adjustment for the side of Bliss Excelsior, to send someone to help out your Zarya.
Speaking of adjustments, they do end up moving over to the Orisa themselves, despite having a good tank matchup. It's just not good enough in this instance. And Percy goes down first in the fight anyway, so Power just has no way of really getting in on this point effectively. Percy coming from the respawn has had to swap over to the Cassidy, and I mean, finds 2 picks here, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop the first capture.
It definitely won't, but it changes how things will go for the second fight. You can't play nearly as aggressive if you're budget approved. You have to back out and play the backup point, waiting for your spawners to come back in. Budget approved could throw in a lot of ults to try and make this stall a little bit longer before their players get back.
Reno gets the title blast from Kermi in an attempt to hold on to this point for as long as possible, and it has done enough to keep them alive and in control of the point for as long as it's taken to get the rest of their team back to the point. Title Blast goes out once again, but it's not going to find any immediate knockdowns to my knowledge. Terra Surge goes out from Reno, and again, doesn't find anything. 1-for-1 trade, but you would definitely rather lose out on the support than a tank. Unfortunately, Percy just continuing to find shots, and all 3 kills in this fight until Power finds a spear come from that Cassidy. And eventually there will be a flip, and the first point ticks for Bliss Excelsior.
And I do like, you know, at that point, if you weren't going to aggress with your Zarya, then going over to the Orisa to add yourself that extra sustain and just match Reno is going to be smart. They're going to have Terra Search. They have a lot at their disposal. I feel like this point should be theirs to lose. You know, they have the ults to be able to get this all the way to 99, in my opinion.
They should be able to, off the back of a Pulse Bomb, a Deadeye, everything else that they have, but it's just a matter of finding times to use them before Note or Bronin find a kill in the middle of nowhere. But Note managing to get away from a situation where very easily could have gone down. Eventually they will go down, Kermi and Note falling very quickly. And with Bliss Excelsior above 80% and chasing down Reno, that should just be the point. Maybe Bronin has another contest here, but I mean, this should just be Bliss Excelsior.
Yep, it did cost them 3 of their ultimates, but to be able to match this 1-1, finally get some positive momentum in your favor, and you get a late stagger onto Witty Weeb, I feel like it is completely worth the price of entrance and more. Budget approved will be able to re-engage with quite a lot amount of ultimates, and the Kiri can get back to them pretty quickly because you have that TP available.
Witty Weeb will be returning to the fight relatively quickly. Pulse Bomb in the hands of Shadow and Bronin, by the way. Both of these Tracers having that potential insta-fight win button, depending on who they stick and depending on cooldowns having been baited out. But the first ultimate to be used in this fight is going to be Witty Weeb using that Kitsune Rush, and it will be enough. The pressure from that ultimate alone just means that everybody on the side of Bliss Excelsior is going to go down, and already building up that point, nobody was even able to contest the capture.
I'm going to say that's actually massive team fight win for Budget Approved to win that with only committing a single ultimate. It basically makes their ult economy just in a much better position, and even with Bliss Excelsior looming on some of these ultimates like the Tidal Wave Blast, possibly the High Noon, maybe a Terra Surge, you have the tools to be able to match them, and you can, since you have them right now and they don't, you can get aggressive and look to find picks faster.
56 in building. No, find Shadow again. This is just, this point feels pretty disastrous for Bliss Excelsior. They just haven't had a chance to walk in. A team kill in the blink of an eye, it feels like. They all just fall down off the back of one Tidal Blast.
Once again, very smart, just giving Bronin the Tidal Wave Blast, basically allowing the Chasers just to blink in and find so many people on the ground, and the team is just able to follow up on it. So it's just nice communication and nice team play. I think that's smart from Bliss Excelsior. Just give it up. You're building up to a lot of ultimates of yourself. So this next fight's going to be big, but they have to win the next 2 points, and then they have to win the next 2 maps after this. So their backs couldn't be further against the wall at this point.
It's dire straits for them. For certain. It is not looking great. Fortunately, they do have the tools they need to win the next couple of fights here. A couple of ultimates in their back pocket, including the one that we saw be so impactful in the last few seconds on that point. What is this crosshair? I'm sorry to talk about something
never seen that
completely
crosshair
unrelated,
before.
but what in the world is this?
I actually kind of like
whatever
it.
it is.
Makes me think of like almost like a cool snowman, like a little dot for the nose. It's got like sunglasses.
whatever that crosshair was, whatever that abomination was, it couldn't save Arrow, and it couldn't save the rest of Bliss Excelsior from going down in that fight. DYS once again getting I mean, it felt like they weren't particularly advantaged there, but they still managed to take the first fight.
Still, both teams, 4, 5 ultimates coming up from both these teams. Let's see how they use it. I feel like Bliss has to get on the aggression, and there we go. Percy gets
Ooh, there we are.
Gets Kermie with the silver bullet.
I mean, that's a great first pick to have. It's just a matter of getting in and finding a second, maybe even a third, fourth, fifth. Eventually, ultimates are going to be popped for the side of Bliss Excelsior. You've used 4 of them, but no immediate value has been found. Make it all 5. They've just used all 5 ultimates, and they still aren't winning the fight immediately. 3 picks, make it 4, go the way of DYS. That is disastrous, and that could just be the end of the series. 88% in building now. Shadow has to be the one to touch, has to be the one to get there, but at 95%, 2 points remaining. It's all over. A swift 3-0 in favor of DYS, budget approved, the number 2 seed, sticking it to the number 1 in a fashion much unlike what we saw in midseason.
And budget approved has now punched their ticket and been approved for the grand finals. Bliss Excelsior will find themselves in the losers bracket, so it's not over for them, and I'm sure this series has taught them a lot. There'll be a lot of adjustments they can make. They'll have plenty of time to practice and get ready. And once again, the curse of Gedster lives.
What have I done? What have I done? What did I do to deserve this? What, like, this was supposed to be a close match, and then in I walk, all ready to cast a great series between 2 very talented teams, and DYS just dominates the entire way through. No Tracer, no problem. They didn't play that Tracer that you were talking about for 2 of the 3 maps, and it was still as one-sided as this series ended up being. They are the absolute favorites going into the grand finals. Presumably against Bliss, but we'll see.
Yeah, all around was just a fantastic series from DYS, budget approved. So can't wait to see what's going to happen. Bliss Excelsior still has the losers bracket. They will face the winner of EMC and Zero Recall, which that will be happening in an hour on CGL 1. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that action. But before we close out this broadcast, we are also going to have an interview with a winner from the side of DYS, budget approved. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with that interview.
we back. And we got 2 players from the side of DYS Budget Approved here for an interview today. It's Reno and it's Ronan. How you fellas feeling after that? Frankly, pretty dominant win.
Amazing.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Love to hear it. Now, going into this series, you guys obviously have a history with Bliss Marauders. Not Bliss Marauders.
Bliss Excelsior.
Bliss Excelsior. Excuse me. There's a lot of teams. Obviously, you guys have a history with them. You faced off against them in mid-season grand finals. You faced off against them once since then. Walk me through what it's like, knowing what team you're expecting to play against.
I'll let Renner do the words because he's a tank.
All right.
I mean, to be honest, we mainly focus on ourselves. There's times, especially with bands, where we were think about what the other team could play and what we're not so good at or what we're weak at. But for the most part, we just worry about what we're gonna do and what we're gonna play.
That's fair.
Okay, so I kind of have one question that's kind of in a two-parter. When you guys have played DYS, I'm going to talk to Ronan specifically on this. When they ban your Tracer, have you mostly always gone to Junker Queen?
No.
Against them? Oh, so
No.
Okay, so unless they watched the match last week, they would a few days ago they wouldn't have known that was in that back pocket.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. This makes more sense because we're sitting here why would you rip that ban on map 1 when Junker Queen is pretty good on Legion Tower? But okay, that makes more sense. So we'll just kind of head to the next one. So map number 2, I talked about it on stream. I'm like, well, we all know Ronan's great at Tracer. So the only map in the pool where you can't really play Tracer is Circuit. But man, did we not see that Hanzo come and talk to us about it?
I mean, yeah, in my beginning of Overwatch 2, I was a Hanzo one tricking ranked. And since starting scrimming, I played more Tracer because Hanzo's not good in scrims. And when we loaded into the map, I said to my team, should I just whip the Hanzo out for the old times? And everyone said yes, so we just whipped it out. I said I'm gonna try it 1 minute. If it doesn't work out, I'm gonna swap. And yeah, I just cooked, I can't lie.
And it worked.
All right, then last question for me before Getster can get in here. Coming into this matchup, obviously we talked about how you guys have played this team quite a lot. Did you guys expect the series to go the way it did? And I'm assuming you guys expect them to see them in grand finals. Do you expect this series to go the same way again in grand finals?
If all things go well, hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty confident in ourselves, especially after today.
We're also looking at the other matches that are playing right now. And the team called, what was it? Tier 4 Demons.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be tough, between them and this team, who's gonna go through grand finals.
Okay.
I think Tier 4 Demons might go through. That's my opinion. But I think both can play against us.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, that is a different tier,
actually.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
The next match, which happens in 50 minutes, will be between EMC
Oh,
and Zero Recall.
yeah, that team, the other team we played against, or the other EMC team, maybe the EMC team. Those teams are also good.
Yeah.
So, it's I don't think it's a 100% we're gonna face them off. They have more chance than other teams, but we have to see what team who's gonna win.
Yeah. I am very interested to see who will be playing against you guys in grand finals, and we will know that in the coming days. But last question for you guys is going to be about, just swapping out players and such throughout the map here. Going into this one, Ray had told me to pay attention to Ronan's Tracer in particular, and then we ended up only seeing it on one of the 3 maps that you guys played today. So, and between that happening and Ronan coming in on Junker Queen for the first map and Reno coming in on Tank for the next 2 maps and all the player swaps that happened in between that, what keeps this team grounded, right? Like, obviously, people switching around so much would throw some teams off and stymie their momentum a little bit. So what keeps you guys consistent despite the swaps in roles?
I mean, we all know what we have to do. I mean, most of us have played with each other for a decent amount of time on the same team and on other teams. And yeah, I mean, it's different having usually I'm on tank, so it's different to swap around the tanks especially, but with DPS and supports, we're pretty comfortable switching around. We're kind of used to it.
Very nice, very nice. Last thing, before I let you guys go, is there anybody you guys would like to shout out before the end of the broadcast day here?
Yes.
LeBron James.
Oh. Shout out to all the casters and the production team. Special shout out to Ray. You know we love you. 3 for 3 now. Every game that Ray casts, we win.
We love Ray.
Yeah,
Big
we love
Ray fan.
Budget
Fun
approved.
fact.
Dystopia loves Ray.
Fun fact. This is my first time casting with Ray. Great time. Huge fan. Huge fan.
Five stars.
This guy's good. This guy's
10 out of
good.
10 would recommend.
10 out of 10. 100% of the time. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in for the interview today, and congrats once again on your win. We'll see you in the grand finals.
Thank you. See you.
Of course. And just like that, everybody, we are done here on CGL2, I believe. I think there's one more match happening on CGL1 today, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, so CGL1 is they're doing their interview right now. Their series is over, but there will be another series going on CGL1 at in 45 minutes. So that will be the Zero Recall going against EMC Menagarmers to figure out who will play Bliss Excelsior in the losers finals. And then later tonight, 4NA starting at 9:15 Eastern. Will be the Diamond Division, which is an elimination game, as we have Stale Ducks going up against Diamond Eagles.
That one's going to be nice here. So, yeah, don't miss the rest of EU today, because this is a very important match that we're about to be broadcasting for EU. And don't miss NA tonight, because NA always delivers. Any division, any tier, doesn't matter, all that jazz. But like I said earlier, that is going to wrap it up for myself and Ray. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you, Ray, for casting with me for the first time. Again, I had a lot of fun. It was a great time. And if you got any last words for the broadcast, Ray?
Shoutouts to our amazing broadcast team behind the scenes, Headrammer and Mochi doing the prod and the OBS. We couldn't do what we do without you guys. And thank you all for watching. We love being able to do this for your guys' entertainment. So it just makes our jobs that much easier seeing you guys tune in and watch these games. And with that, we will see you guys at another broadcast.